There's no way we can talk about land banking without mentioning a particular name. And the name is John Jacob Astor. John Jacob Astor was the first multi-millionaire businessman of the United States. And he employed the land banking strategy to acquire a large tract of land in where we now know as Manhattan today. During his lifetime, he sold this tract of land and developed some into houses in which he later sold on and on and on. I am Ayeni of Lavida, and as you might already know, I'm not just in the business of selling real estate, but also assisting you to make the best real estate investment decision that you'll be proud of for years to come. This is going to be a wonderful video, and I think you should stay till the end. Now you might wonder, what is land banking? What are we talking about exactly? I mean, how do you take land and like bank it? Is land some sort of bank, or are we taking land to the bank? Let me explain. So instead of just taking your money and putting it in a savings account, in a bank account, where in a year you only get about 1% or 1.25% returns, land banking is something you can invest in. And this is what land banking basically is, right? You take your money, you find a good land in a rural area. Yes, the best way to really earn from land banking is to buy in a rural area, not in a developed area. Developed areas are already developed. Yes, people will need land, of course, but the rate at which the price would go up would be reduced compared to a rural area. Now, this was what John Jacob Astor did. Before Manhattan became Manhattan today, Manhattan was just land. Probably not just very few people living there. So he bought it because he knew development was coming to that area. He had a vision. He just saw it ahead that, okay, this place is going to develop very soon, and he took advantage. He bought it when nobody was looking at it, and then he started selling when people started looking at it. So that's like the idea of land banking. You find a place where you know development is getting to, then you buy plots of land there. That's simply how it works. Then you wait and sell after a few years, or you develop and maybe still sell, or just develop for yourself. So that's just how land banking works in very, very simple terms. And now I'm going to be telling you about how to safely land bank, because yes, land banking is good, and as good as it is, if you are not very careful, you can fall for scams. You can buy a land that is committed by the government. You can buy something that is not good and you will regret. You don't want to waste your money, so you need proper information to be able to like invest in land banking. And now I'll tell you about how to safely invest in land banking. Alright, so I'm going to be giving you 4 steps to safely land bank, 4 steps to safely invest in land banking without losing your money. So yeah, the first step. The first step I'll be giving you is to buy land on the path of development. Why I told you about John Jacob Astor, why he was very successful with land banking, was because he saw it. He just knew that development was coming to Manhattan. Manhattan was an island, and it was like a major area where people would need to live on, to stay on. So the first step to safely invest in land is to buy on the path of development. There are so many places that you can buy land, but don't just go and buy land somewhere that won't develop in very, very few years to come. So what you want to do is you want to buy land on the path of development. And lands at Ibejuleki are like very, very good lands, because Ibejuleki, there's a lot of developments happening. Companies are investing billions of dollars in Ibejuleki in terms of infrastructure. There's the airports happening there. The road networks at Ibejuleki, if you've seen them, you know, yes, they're like really good. I'm talking about some areas there, not all areas. And not just Ibejuleki, also Ekpe area of Lagos, Ibejuleki area of Lagos. These places are like very, very good locations for land banking because developments are moving there really fast. So yes, that's the first thing you should look out for when you are investing in land banking. That's the first step and the first way to safely invest in land banking. Now, the number 2 tip on how to safely invest in land banking is to inspect the property. If you can't inspect this property, you can just send somebody to inspect it for you. If you are like far away but you really want to invest in this, you can send someone to inspect. If you have someone you trust, send them over to check out these properties. I'll tell you about a land. So a couple of days ago, a particular client sent me a message and he wanted me to assist him in securing a plot of land somewhere in Ibejuleki. And then I was like, okay, let's find out, let's do some due diligence and like check what this land really is. Then I went to the developer and then they took me to the land. So we were just going. It was so far. It was like very, it was not what they said. It was like, it was not where they said the land was. That was like the first issue. They said the land was opposite a major attraction. It was not opposite a major attraction. It was not even close. It was inside. At the end of the trip, I was so exhausted. In fact, the car got to a point where we just had to trek. The car couldn't move beyond the point. So we had to trek for about 30 minutes to get to the location. It was so exhausting. When I got back home, I phoned the client. I told him, sorry bros, this land, if you want my genuine advice, get something else. It's too far. Before development to get to that part, it will take some time, and it's not somewhere you'd want to put your money now. It's not. And for the fact that it's not even where they said it is, that's a turn off, really. That's a turn off. So yes, the second tip on how to safely invest in land banking is to inspect the property thoroughly. That's it. The third tip I'll be giving on how to safely invest in land banking is to ask and verify documentations of the land properly. If they tell you the land is C of O, be sure it is C of O, ensure it is C of O. If they tell you the land is execution and gazette, ensure that's like the document. If they tell you that's what the document is, ensure that's the document. Now, take Ibejuleki and Ekpe area for example. Now, it's a fast developing area, so no doubt there are a lot of developers working around that area. So there are some developers that will tell you, oh, this land has this document. At the end of the day, it doesn't have the document, or they are just working towards getting a document. This type of things are things you want to be very, very careful about, because you don't want to buy a land that you would have issue on in the nearest future. You don't want to buy a land that you would now realize, oh, the document on this is not original or it's not true. So you want to properly verify the documentation of the land. And the fourth tip on how to safely invest in land banking is to make sure you are buying from a trusted developer. Make sure you are buying from a developer that has been tested and trusted over the years. A developer with good track record. That's what you should make sure you're doing. That's why we at lavidaproperties, that is one of the things we are very keen on. That's one of our mandates. All the developers we work with, they are like tested and trusted. They are developers that we've seen fulfill their promises over the year. So it is just what we do here at Lavida. All those things, all these tips I just mentioned, they are very, very basic steps we take when we want to help our clients to invest or to give them advice on where to invest their money. These are the 4 tips on how to invest safely in land banking.